G'day guys, Tom here, welcome back to my movie channel and thank you very much for joining me for this, my non-spoilers review for the new Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. But before we get into this review, I wanted to remind you guys that if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so by clicking that subscribe button and make sure you ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on my take of all the latest movies. So I was really excited to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, and also very curious because this movie takes place right in between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, and that creates some very interesting possibilities for this movie and creates a very interesting setup for the film. Again, like in the first one, they nailed the relationship between Scott Lang and Evangeline Lilly's character, Hope Van Dyne. They built on the relationship that they established in the first one and created just a whole other different dynamic that's great. Their chemistry together on screen and the way these two characters are written is just brilliantly done. I wanted to touch on Michael Pena briefly because his character in the first one was such a standout, such a surprise. And in this movie, the way they use the character of Luis is awesome. He has a bit more of a larger role in this film, and his, voiceovers, it makes a return in this film as it did in the first one, and it's hilarious. And that leads me into my next point is the humor in this movie, Like the first one, Ant-Man is primarily, it's a comedy, it's mainly a comedy, but sometimes the Marvel humor can be a bit hit and miss, and in this movie, it was all hit for me. The humor worked and had me laughing at several points during the movie, and a few laughs from characters you wouldn't expect to give you laughs. Now, as you guys know, you've seen it in the posters, Michelle Pfeiffer is in this movie. She plays Janet Van Dyne, who was lost in the quantum realm, and she is in this movie, and I can't talk about her role too much. I will just say that I really like the way that they used her character, and I liked her role in this film. Something that they did a lot better in this film than they did in the first Ant-Man was the way that they, the shrinking and the growing, and you see Giant Man in the trailers, and it made for some awesome action sequences. There's a car chase in this film. You got a glimpse of it in the trailers as well, but there's a car chase in this film that utilizes the shrinking and the resizing. It's awesome. It's so well done. Now, like in any good sequel, you would hope that there is a lot of character development and the characters are more fleshed out and more established, and Hank Pym, Scott Lang, Hope Van Dyne, all those characters are very well fleshed out, very well done. They are now firmly established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, say unlike something like Avengers Infinity War or Thor Ragnarok that had really good villains, the villains in this movie are kind of meh. And they're not really truly villains. They're more inconveniences, more annoyances. They're not really bad guys per se, but they do push our heroes further along in their story. And they're interesting-ish, but they're not like a standout in the movie for me, but they also didn't really detract in any way from the film for me. Now, very quickly, there are two post-credit scenes to Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first one is awesome, absolutely awesome, mind-blowing. I love the mid-credit scene for Ant-Man and the Wasp. The end credit scene is a funny one and it's a fun one, but it's one that you could probably skip if you wanted to get an extra 5-minute head start to the car park to leave the theater. Now, I loved the first Ant-Man. As you can see, I've got a Ant-Man poster behind me. I really loved the first Ant-Man, and I was really hoping that this movie would be as good, if not better than the first Ant-Man. And after one viewing of this film, and keep in mind I've just come out of seeing it, I actually think I like this movie just a bit more than the first one. So guys, that is my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Hope you very much enjoyed this video. If you did, once again, remember to subscribe and ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on my take on all the latest movies. My name is Tom. Once again, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.